one of my friends went out into the lobby because the restaurant's inside a hotel, and he come back into the restaurant with 5 or 6 guys in tow, and I recall that he hadn't mentioned anything earlier on in the evening that we were meeting any other friends. It was just like we'd gone out for a little meal, you know. And then once he come to the table, it was like these guys positioned themselves around us and kind of like dragged us out of our seats and said, "I'll come outside." So we followed them out into the lobby, and then once we got into the lobby area, I said, "Look, you know, what's going on?" And I was just like pushed into a chair, and somebody started checking my pockets and saying, "Look, give me your phone, give me your keys, give me whatever you've got in your pockets." And then it was sort of like, I looked across at my friend to see what's going on, and he just shaked his head like, you know, don't react. Within the next minute, kind of something became clear, because the guys who had pulled us out of the restaurant were speaking in the earpieces, very discreet earpieces, and I thought, okay, you know, this is a little bit different. And then we were taken out in twos and thrown into the back of the car, and we had thumb cuffs put on us. This guy was driving phenomenally fast, just weaving in and out of traffic, and I'm asking, "Look, what's going on here?" And the guy said, "Look, just be quiet, you know, don't speak." There's 101 things that race through your mind and you just don't know. And the car stopped, and we were dragged out, separated. I was dragged into a building. Again, I know because I could just see out the bottom of the hood that it changed to a tiled floor, and then dragged into some kind of room where it was carpeted, placed in a chair, and then I had proper cuffs placed on my wrist behind me. Somebody shoves their face in mine and says, "Right, you need to talk and tell us everything you know. We know that you gave the order for the bomb." And you know, and then somebody shouting in Urdu and somebody shouting in Arabic, and obviously this guy speaking in English. And I says, "Look, I think you made a mistake. Well, what's your name?" So I told him, "I'm Alam Ghafoor." And he said, No, what's your middle name?" And I said, "Well, I don't have a middle name." "Yeah, you do. You're lying to us." I said, "No, I'm not lying to you about that. I've, you know, checked my passport. I'm a British citizen. You need to call the consulate. You've made a mistake." "No, we haven't made a mistake. The British have told us to pick you up. We know who you are. You need to tell us, you know, you're a very bad man, and you're going to die in here." I didn't want my mother to end up having a heart attack over these kind of allegations. And then I thought, you know, my son is 7, 8 years old at the time, and I thought, you know, what a thing for his father to be labelled as a terrorist, and then for him to grow up with that, not knowing the truth. They took me from being in a normal cell and they put me into one which was I could only describe it as being like some kind of it's it's a small cell which was pitch black, was red hot, and it was just covered in blood and urine and feces and that, and they shoved me in there, shut the door, and it's just, there's no air in there, there's no sound in it, it's just pitch black. It's like what you would expect to be if you were buried alive. And with the way they were going on, I thought, okay, if I'm going to die, then at least let me try and do it on my own terms, or at least try to alert somebody to my situation. So I says to the guy, "Look, you know, this has gone on long enough. I'll give you what you want. Just bring me the pen and paper, and I'll write stuff down for you." So he came along, and I just wrote a false confession saying, "Yeah, I did know the guys from Leeds. I did arrange it," and I put crazy things in there, you know, like I went on to Hezbollah.com and learned how to make bombs, and I'd bought them the maps for London Underground and showed them how to use the tube station, and just, you know, stupid little things like that. And I'd even written, you know, yeah, I have constant contact with Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden, and then right at the end I just asked of the Dubai authorities that before you kill me, that you let me go on camera and say that death to all the Kafirs in the UK, and Muslim will rule or the UK very soon. The guy's kind of like eyes popped out of his head and he says, "Oh, is this true?" And I said, "Well, you haven't believed anything that I've told you up to date, so why would you suddenly doubt me on this?" And he said, "Yeah, but is this true?" I said, "Well, do you want it to be true?" So he ran off and came back with a senior person, and who said, "Okay, I need to witness you signing this." So I signed it. Then he went off, came back, and he said, "Oh, they've asked that you thumbprint it." So I did that, and then he said, "Okay, you will be tried in front of a judge and you will be hung in the morning." So I said, "Well, just make sure that you put me on camera before you do that." I ended up back in one of the original cells. The hood was removed and I could see it was like a small office, a table and chair in front of me, and I thought, this is where the judge comes in and just tells me, that you're about to be hung. So I was like kind of prepared at that moment. And then that was when the knock on the door came, and the head popped in and they said, "Oh, are you Alam Ghafoor? I'm from the British consulate." And then I just broke down and I said, "You don't believe what they've accused me of?" And she said, "Yeah, we do know, and we're trying to do our best to get you out of here." This thing of the British government allowing British citizens to be detained and tortured in such a way, because knowing full well that over here we would have human rights and you would not be allowed to be treated like this, but in these other countries they can go to whatever extreme they want. When I came back, there was psychologist assessment done, and the reports for me and Rafiq did state that we were suffering post-traumatic stress disorder. I'd like to know why I was put through this hell